I mean, a lot of good stuff is based on books, right? People put a lot of effort in writing books, and some scripts are written in a hurried haste. Like you have to create a series. We have to get a new series on the air, but a lot of times books are written by people who will take 5 years to write a book,
or 10 years, like
more.
George R.R. Martin. Still hasn't released his last Game of Thrones book, but who's counting?
Perfect example, because the people that made the TV show Game of Thrones have made a TV series based on another series of books that I absolutely love. It's called the three body problem.
It's such a weird title. The three body problem. Why not 2 bodies? Why not 1?
Well,
I don't know. It all seems like a problem to me.
It's not a problem if there's 2, because we have one of those, the Earth and the Moon, right? And
yes,
that system it's an orbital system. I mean, you can count the sun, I get, because it's influenced, we go around the sun. But the 3 body problem, what that describes is, and we have to say that it's written by a Chinese author named Liu Cixin. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's a Liu Cixin, or Cixin Liu.
Okay.
And he's Chinese, so the book takes a little bit to get into, because there's cultural differences and people's motivations in there seem sometimes a little bit than Western style motivations, right. And the characters are Chinese and the names are Chinese. So you really have to, the translation is really good though, but it is hard science fiction.
Hard science fiction. And I love that it's these guys coming back, because even though they lost interest in Game of Thrones in the last season, clearly, it's like they were great showrunners. And so we're talking about David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Yeah.
And they did Game of Thrones, and they did a fantastic job for 90% of it. And so I think they just kind of lost their passion for it. And they also lost the narrative because there were no more books. So they were having to kind of wing it. I love that they're going to have a solid series of books that they can bring their know-how to. So I'm very interested in seeing this, because they do very handsome productions. So
yes,
very excited to see this.
Well, one interesting thing about the books though is they're so vast. There's a thing that you can do in books that you can't really do as easily in movies or television shows, having a ton of characters and having all their motivations and their thoughts. The same reason that Dune is so hard to make into a film or a TV series.
Yeah.
This one is, because the ideas in it are so huge and mind-bending, and there's brand new conceptual things in here that people are gonna be pausing this and going, what the hell am I seeing? Honestly,
wait.
Because there are concepts in here that are so huge and scary, but the cool thing is the author is a legit scientist. He knows what he's talking about, and although he's projecting, of course, into science fiction realms, there's still a basis in there, like a mathematical basis and a astrological basis. There's things that make sense, and the best science fiction takes things that are real that we know about and pushes them a little bit into like, what if you could make a fiber that was so strong but microscopic, and that it could just effortlessly slide through anything because it goes between the molecules. And if you took a piece of this fiber and went like through your head like this, the top of your head would slide off, right?
Ooh,
and anything it goes through, like if you stretch it across a freeway, for instance, there's an idea like that in this book that is just terrifying.
Sounds terrifying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this thing. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's roll it. Let me get the slate. All right.
Yes.
You ready? And
there must be 30 dead scientists in the past month. Christ. Another countdown.
Oh, there's...
Has anyone else seen it?
Yeah.
It's creepy.
What happened to them?
someone or something is targeting scientists.
Wow.
They're going after our best and brightest. There's someone behind everything. You just have to dig.
Whatever it is watching and listening.
We don't know what they are. Maybe we can't know what they are.
Oh. Wild.
Do you believe in God?
Whoa!
You're scared. You're right to be scared. But we have got one shot, and I need your help.
Prepare yourself for something very strange.
Oh. Wow. Dang.
They are coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Wow.
Yeah. It
Those
looks
were
like-
some gorgeous visuals. Holy shit.
Yeah. That's what the book is full. The
Holy
books, the 3 books are filled
Wow.
with those kind of things where I was like getting goosebumps reading the book.
Yeah. I was getting goosebumps.
And-
I didn't even read the books. And I was like, oh, it just looks big and important. And I love that because sometimes I feel like something like Lost. This is kind of, to me, kind of similar. We have this sci-fi premise and you have all these huge ideas and then you throw them away and it becomes very shallow and stupid. And this one does not look like that.
Or sometimes I noticed that there's a tendency with some writers to have these great setups where they know how to do these setups. They know how to do like a visual wow, and then they don't know what to do with it. They don't know where to go with it.
I don't know how to close it. Close the deal.
To it is not exciting, and it's like But this one is. This one has a
This looks crazy.
This one has an arc through the 3 books. There's a scene in the trailer there where they're looking up at the sky and the stars flicker on and off.
Oh,
in
so
the book. That's like I remember that in the book like very distinctly. It's the kind of
amazing.
Yeah, it's terrifying. The idea of really super advanced aliens, that's so hard to depict because we are only as advanced as we are. So depicting something that's more advanced than us, we always, human present day writers, science fiction writers, a lot of times
humans.
Yeah, but when they speculate about advanced aliens, they're basically just like a little bit more, they're like Vulcans or something. They're smarter and a little bit more arrogant than us or something. And they have laser guns and they have sort of recognizable future-y things.
Yeah.
But what if something really was super advanced to the point where they, to us, were like what we are to our pets, to our dogs, Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it would be like. They would consider us kind of primitive. So they were so advanced compared to us.
Yeah. And what is, our value to them? Do we have any? It's like when humans go to another planet, you can assume, based on our history of what we do when we go to the new world, there might be things there that we're like, these aren't beneficial for us. Let's just go ahead and burn those off. And,
we don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and I like it when it's science based too. Like it feels like this is huge and crazy and it has to do with aliens, but it also has to do with science and how the universe works. And I feel like there's so little that we know about the universe, and the little bit that we do is so astounding. You can't take it almost for granted. Like, yeah, it's big and there's stars in it. But then when you see all these photos that are coming in and how it actually works and how black holes actually work, it's like that stuff is like miraculously crazy and it's real. Like science. We don't even understand half of it. So I love the idea of taking something that's based in science and making it magical and amazing. I mean, that's just the perfect sci-fi to me.
But there's a few.
I don't know. This looks good.
I can tell that there's some things that they changed, and I think I'm okay with that because I don't think this book is actually. I mean, you know what? There's another version of it. Chinese
version
made another version of it, which I have not
seen.
See it?
Is it available? Okay.
I think it's actually on YouTube. I heard somebody say it was on YouTube, but don't quote me on that. The cultural differences, when I was reading the book, I had to put some things in, you have to kind of go, okay, this is not an American reaction, or this is not it's hard to explain, but.
Well, I recognize John Bradley. He was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And we also have Eliza Gonzalez is one of the main actors in this. We have Sia Shimoka. I love that there's a lot of new people. I recognize Benedict Wong.
Yeah.
And Liam Cunningham. Those are all great. And then I love they could have had anybody, but I love that they filled the cast with a lot of unknowns, which I think is really good because then I feel like you really disappear into the characters.
Yeah.
You're not distracted by the big celebrity. It's like,
right.
I think that's important, especially with something like this that's going to be so ensemble based that you don't have one person just sort of, over waiting for that star to show up. I think that's really smart.
Plus it jumps around in time a lot. I don't know how they're going to parse the story out as far as the series goes.
There's a little teaser poster here. I like that. It's very, it's very eye-catching. Get it?
Yeah.
Eye-catching.
Yeah.
But it shows that cool effect with the numbers you were talking about. Like she can see the date, the countdown. They keep talking about the countdown, which is
that's
a really cool
the aliens have sent. Somehow they're called sophons, and that's why there's a person in the trailer who says something like they can see and hear everything. And so one of the issues in the story becomes these numbers that people start seeing, and how creepy it is that something's in your field of vision and it moves around with you, but it won't go away.
How do they pick who gets to see? Is it just random? They're just infecting everyone bit by bit, or does everyone all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's like specific people.
Okay.
And
so when she's like, can anyone else see this? It's like, no one can see it except her. She's important.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff about scientists and who could possibly be a threat. Beings from out there send something first to kind of disrupt everything and make it easier to take over once they get here. They might actually invade the planet before they arrive. You know what I mean?
Get it all set up. Get the house clean. Sorry. Well, this looks very promising. I'm looking forward to this. It comes out March 21st. Starts streaming March 21st.
You were asking about the name, the 3-body problem. It's a strange, unusual name. And really quickly, I was going to explain it. The Earth and the Moon are one body orbital system. The Moon goes around, and mathematicians can figure that out, and they can figure out how fast the Moon is going, and you can calculate it really well.
Right.
But if you add a third body in there, and all three of these things start orbiting each other, and say there's 2 of them are suns and one is a planet, and the planet is going in and out between, but of course they're way further away, but it would become mathematically, almost supposedly according to chaos theory and all this, impossible to figure out when you're going to get a happy, nice climate and a terrible frozen climate and a horrible burning climate.
Weird.
If you're an alien race and you evolve to live on that kind of a planet, you might have ways of going into sort of a hibernation and knowing when to come out and all that. And it just becomes so tiresome. They're like, we need to find a better place.
we need to, this is not comfortable. We want less bodies in motion.
Yeah.
That is amazing. This sounds so cool. It sounds like one of the ideas that's so big I almost can't wrap my head around it, and I love that.
I kept doing that when I was reading the book. I had to stop.
Like, what?
It tends to be sort of an older style too. Like Frank Herbert's Dune stuff did that to me too. It really took me somewhere, and
it just seems like it's going further than anyone else. Like, I love the idea that someone is thinking ahead way further than other people, and this seems like one of those. I like that this one just acts different. It's different. It's not like us.
It may be so different. Yeah. And
So
and
cool.
the idea too that technologies, the idea of extrapolating into the future of technologies too, and what would a space battle look like? It's not ships flying around shooting lasers at each other and blowing up like Star Wars. Maybe there's something else that spaceships do, and it's like
It also could just be tiny. I mean, think about how a tiny virus can take people down. They're tiny. You don't even see them. I mean, you don't have to have a big weapon. You can be tiny.
nobody science fiction writer in the 50s or 60s wrote anything about social media on computer
That's true.
network.
No one figured that one out.
Yeah.
Might have helped. All right. So let us know your comments. Let us know your thoughts. Put them in the comments, and what your theories are about this. And if you read the book, have you seen the Chinese version? How is it? Is it good? Let us know.
Yeah, let
right.
me know if anybody's seen the Chinese version. I'm
like to see
gonna watch it, but just I'm whether you say I should or not, I'm gonna watch it. But
We're gonna watch
I'd like
it.
to hear what your opinion is of it.
Yeah, let us know what you think of all of these books, series, trailer. Let us know.
And if you're a fan of this series of books, and you have other books you want to recommend that are hard science fiction that remind you, or are in the same category as this one, I want to know, because I love that kind of stuff.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.